Welcome everyone to the Tech Lab Grand Finals. There's been a few of these throughout the year, but this is the Grand Final one, the end of year one, $25,000 up to stake, sponsored by Western Digital, Asus, Intel, and the fantastic Riot Games.
Yes, who could forget Riot Games? Thank you for making Dota 2 a reality. We owe all our thanks to your benevolence and grace as the kings and queens of esports.
Do they show up on this, by the way? Are we going to have like...
I don't know. Kawa made that thing. Is there a Riot?
You didn't... Not showing true respect to the tournament sponsors, Carla.
Well, I don't think we'll be invited back now.
This is the first time we're casting Tech Labs, probably the last.
At the rate we're going, not off to a good start here.
Our first matchup today is going to be Empire versus Power Rangers. That's followed up by Na'Vi versus Virtus Pro. Those are your four top Eastern European teams here competing for $25,000. I think it's $15,000 for first place.
Yeah, 13,500, I believe to be exact. Yeah, like around $15,000, $25,000 for a 2-day LAN event. Not bad. And I think the other thing worth noting is TECHLABS has big plans for next year, and well, they haven't announced them fully yet, but the first place team actually gets seeded directly into their next event. So I imagine some of these teams will qualify for that anyway. They'll announce more about it later. Nothing's confirmed yet, but some exciting Dota ahead of us.
Yep. Empire vs. Power Rangers. We'll hop ourselves into the draft. Team Empire have recently gone through a small little roster change. They've added Resolution to their lineup, replacing Scandal. A lot of people were upset. There was some kind words said about Scandal, but it seemed like he just wasn't quite fitting as perfectly in the team as they'd hoped for. But Resolution, one of those big upcoming Russian stars. So he's got some big shoes to fill regardless, even if he is kind of one of those upcoming stars.
Yeah, he's young, he's hungry, and he's out to prove himself. I think that's what you can say about Resolution, coming, of course, from Rock's Kiss. But as for the loss of Scandal, as amazing, Scandal was a big playmaker for this team, and he's been a core member of Empire for, God, it's been like almost 2 years at this point that he was a part of the team. Dating back even to Heroes of Newerth, he'd played a lot with some of the guys on the team nowadays, and they made their transition together into Dota 2. They had a lot of success back when Funnick was a part of the roster. Some would argue they were the best team in Europe, at least for a period of time. They hadn't won any major events, but they were beating Na'Vi consistently, and or at least fairly often, and taking the fight to them. So I'm curious to see how Resolution fits in. From my experience casting him, he does seem a bit more stable than Scandal. Scandal, very aggressive, prone to overextending or making huge plays, but I think with Resolution they get a player that's maybe a bit more reliable.
Yeah, I think
if not as flashy.
And it's also like I think Scandal, like the nerf to the Batrider, kind of he was one of the players who got hit quite hard because he was still trying to play to make the Batrider viable as a mid, but it just didn't seem to be working out too well. And it just seems like bringing in some young talent may look to freshen things up. It still doesn't feel like the same old Empire, like you say. You think of Empire over the last 2 years, and I think of two players, and that's Scandal and Mag. These guys, to me, just sum up what Empire's about. They've had quite a somewhat frequently changing lineup, adding like Vangscore to the lineup recently, adding Resolution, even Silent, who hasn't been on the team for all that long. So seeing Scandal go is still going to be a big hit to the team. As for Power Rangers, they're another team with a bit of a constantly changing roster over the last year or so, but this is a team who haven't really played much Dota lately.
Yeah, it looks like, I think they're using the same roster as what they did last month, so it hasn't changed super recently, but we've seen quite a few players make their way through this roster. Some of their players used to play for former teams, and, well, Power Rangers, they're one of those teams in Eastern Europe that, you know, they're never like the star team, but they took a game off of Na'Vi, I think, either last TECHLABS or the TECHLABS before. It was BO1 games for the early stages of the double limb bracket back then, so they're definitely a team that can surprise Empire, Na'Vi, as well as VP, even if they're not going to be the favorites. And hey, if you want to take a flyer on them, win a lot of rares, I would say, I don't know if I'd bet on them in a best of 3, though. That's where with the old format, best of 1, I think that favored Power Rangers. Moving to best of 3, we'll see if Empire's new roster affects them, but on its surface, I'd say best of 3 is going to favor the more solid team, and that should be Empire.
I think if you get some really good odds, you still maybe give them a shot against Empire or VP, but I wouldn't be betting any rares, even on commons or whatever it may be, against Na'Vi. But against the other two teams, I definitely give them a smaller shot. And that's one of those things. They're playing on LAN. These guys are actually somewhat experienced on LAN, even if they're not all that known of a team.
Yeah, that pretty much concludes just sort of entering the teams on the series. It is a best of 3. This is game 1. We're going to see a first pick Elder Titan out of Empire. Veno Lifestealer, the reply. Veno and Visage, really those two premier supports in this patch. Naga comes out for Empire. A hero we don't often see, but is a great setup for Elder Titan Stomp, as well as the Earth Splitter. So I like that pickup in that respect, and a pretty versatile laner. Now we're seeing Empire actually go for a very strong laning support in Crystal Maiden, and then they go Clinks. So they're drafted at this point. Looking at the way Power Rangers is drafted, Power Rangers, to me, if they're even, they're ahead this game. Empire, the team that needs that Clinks to snowball, that needs to dominate the lanes, Maybe this last pick changes it, but I actually think Empire is, they've got a lot to get done in this laning stage. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, they've got the team fight of the Naga Siren and Elder Titan to help them out a little bit, but they haven't really got a true tempo controller for the mid game here. Like, Clinks needs to start, if he's not snowballing, that is. As for Power Rangers, much more versatile, well-run lap. They go for a last pick Brewmaster, so there's your solo mid and... Well,
traditional counter to the Lone Druid. We used to see this pick a lot. You Cyclone the Bear. I think it lasts for 8 or 9 seconds, something like that. The Panda Cyclone a lot longer than the normal Yule Scepter one that you see from that item. But one of your favorite heroes, Gods. Yeah. Looks like a solo mid Panda. Resolution's going to be taking up the reins of that. And hey, we've often seen Panda struggle against certain solo mids like Queen of Pain. Here's it can dominate melees, but this is going to be a mag mid most likely, which means unless Power Rangers looks to do something unusual, so should be a pretty good lane for the Panda.
Also a good hero to have against mag just in general come mid game fights, because it means when you initiate in, you don't have to be worried about getting caught by surprise by that mag up here. If you go on someone, you pop the ulti right away, you can Cyclone the mag, you can get the immolation on him, you can throw him up in the air. It's just quite a good just crowd control hero. You've got so much disable lockdown, as you mentioned, great against Lone Druid as well. So just an all-around good jack of all trades, the Brewmaster.
Yeah, so look at Empire's draft right now. We can introduce our players quickly. It's our first game of Tech Labs, the grand finals for 2013. Heading into 2014, this will be they'll go out on a high note, as to put it that way, I suppose. And well, later today we'll have Navi versus VP. But for now, this is your winner bracket semifinal, round number 1. It's Empire versus Power Rangers. Silent going to be handling the Clinks. He does play the carry role for the squad. Vengscore, probably one of the standout support talents, like the young guns, if you will, on the Naga Siren. He's impressed over the past few months. Always want to fly your Crystal Maiden. That puts Resolution, the new guy, but certainly not new to the Russian scene, just new to this squad, playing the solo mid Brewmaster. And that leaves kind of your stalwart veteran. He's been around all the way back, even to the Dara days, and before then, he'll be playing the Elder Titan. That's Mag.
All right. Well, over on the Radiant side, we're going to see Team Power Rangers. It's going to be ZXC playing the Magnus. He'll be looking to head towards the middle lane a bit later. It's going to be Fungska playing the Venomancer. Elsewise in the bottom lane, going to be Moon on the carry Lifestealer, J4 on the winner, and then off lane, it's going to be CHS Gisricht playing the Lone Druid, I want to say.
I honestly have no idea how to pronounce that name, so I'm just going to call him CHS.
Yeah. CHS, yeah.
You're welcome to do whatever you want there, but that's the safe bet for me. But yeah, so game 1, looking at the draft, Power Rangers, they've got that Lone Druid Lifestealer combo, and this used to be all the rage back in 6.78. You'd run the Lifestealer on one side of the map, Lone Druid on the other, and generally at least one of them gets farm, if not both. You have the mag in the mid game, so you hit one big RP, it's like you can't lose at that point. But look at Empire's draft, they've got a lot of ways to frustrate Power Rangers. They've got the Panda ult, the Elder Titan Stomp, your Song, and potentially the Orchid from Clinks. A lot of just annoying CC that can disrupt that big team fight combination. So we'll see how the game develops. For me, Empire, the one here I'm really keeping my eye on is that Brewmaster. I feel an early blink is essential. He's their big initiator. And as for Power Rangers, well, I think the Magnus also the hero to keep an eye on. So these two solo mids, they'll be going at it.
Yeah, not a lane where you'll see it's not like your Queen of Pain versus Puck where the laning stage is going to be like huge and exciting, but once these heroes hit their level 6, level 7, get their items going, you get your Arcane Boots up on Brewmaster, you can start thinking about rotating around the map when he's level 6. Your Magnus, similar story. Even before Blink Dagger, he wants to make sure he maybe has a TP scroll once he's around the level 7 to 9 point, just to make sure he can come into those fights.
By the way, it is worth mentioning, guys, for those who are wondering, the new patch, there's no Ember Spirit and there's no Earth Spirit in Captain's mode as far as I'm aware. I think Ember Spirit was added to Captain's mode in Dota 1 with 6.79. I believe that's the case, but
okay.
We're going to have a quick AP remake here, it looks like.
Yeah.
But yeah, Ember Spirit not in Captain's mode yet in Dota 2, but I imagine he will be soon once they just sort out any bugs or things along those lines. So, Guts, who are your rares on?
I mean, I feel Empire, even without Scandal, I'd feel it gone to the point where Scandal, you recognize them being on Empire, they were doing well, even, like, it wasn't required for him to, like, shine. It wasn't like a Scandal +4 type lineup. So
yeah.
I think Empire definitely the favorites coming in.
And I think I joined the wrong lobby here. Oh, no, I don't actually have the lobby yet. Trying to remember that password. All right. So we're just setting up the lobby again. We are the de facto hosts because they're having internet issues at the venue. At least the players have made it in. But
sure it's all
for those who are wondering, it is a LAN tournament in Moscow. There will apparently be some production on the Russian stream but only for the third best of 3 each day. Dota's not the only game there. They have League of Legends. I think they have World of Tanks, StarCraft possibly as well. There's a couple of other games, but the third series of each day, which today will be the winner bracket finals and tomorrow will be the grand finals, there will be hopefully on-stage production for that. So we'll get our camera shots if all goes well, and it should be fun.
All right, teams are ready. We'll hopefully reload back in without too many problems. Dota 2 is kind of weird. I click the Stockholm server, and then when I check the settings again, it says I'm on Brazil server. I'm like, what happened there? I did not select Brazil server.
Yikes. Well, you should. Sometimes you want to intentionally. With the new Dire Tide, that's like the best way to... Either you have to be like super high rating, or you just 5-man queue in South Africa.
Look, all I can say is I've had people complain, like, they'll get into a game and they'll be like in a pub game with Dire Tide, and like their team is trying to organize them to try and set the record. Don't waste your time. Play Dire Tide because you want to play Dire Tide. End of the day, it's going to be the pros who plan out and like have their stacks who are going to be getting these records. Like, I don't see a non-organized 10-man stack getting the Dire Tide record. It's just not going to happen.
I mean, if you want to make... No, I think it's fine to make a 10-man stack. Just don't try to force your pubbies to beat the record.
I'm saying if you're not in a 10-man stack, don't try and beat the record. Just play Dire Tide to play Dire Tide.
Well, right now, the strategy du jour is the Pudge.
They got rid of that.
Pudge getting mass flesh strength?
Yeah, they got rid of that now.
Oh, really?
IG won the first cycle using that, but after the first cycle, they changed it so like when you get to the next stage, you lose all your flesh heap.
Yeah, so basically the way it was working, for anyone who didn't see it, was like Pudge would just farm the enemy level 1 heroes in the fountain. He had Magnus and Power. I think he had Bloodseeker, Blood Rage, at least later on. Troll Warlord Ultimate. And you just get a bunch of evasion. He ended up... I see a Pudge with like 50,000 HP, so...
Does he go like crit and stuff as well?
Yeah, like you sell your items later on just to get like the maximum DPS for the Roshan fight.
Okay.
So you have unlimited gold basically, but no Dire Tide here. Personally, I don't see it with the Dire Tide. I was just excited for the new heroes myself. I've had a lot of fun with
as much as like
them.
there were all the complaints out there. I think a lot of people forgot that Dire Tide, while maybe fun for a little bit, isn't as fun as actual Dota.
Well, it was fun when you could be the 0.1% that get an item that sells for $5,000, but that's about it.
I think people were more upset about the lack of communication than the lack of Dire Tide in a lot of ways.
All right, well, with that being said, let's introduce our teams, guys. It's game 1 of a best of 3. It's an AP remake, Empire versus Power Rangers. Empire will be on the Dire side, Power Rangers on the Radiant. Hopefully, we're all good to go. We'll start with the Dire side here. Mag, your savvy veteran. He's been around way back to the Dare days with art style, even before then. On your offlane Elder Titan, the new kid on the block for Empire will be Resolution, hailing from Rock's Kiss previously. That puts Venkskor on your Naga Siren. Always want to fly the support Crystal Maiden. And then towards the top lane, it will be Silent playing the carry Clinks. Well, for me, guys, we talked about it a bit before the remake, but I feel like this Empire draft, it's all about 2 things. The Brewmaster Blink and the Clinks Orchid. How quickly can they get those items out? Yeah,
absolutely. I'm pretty confident the Brewmaster shouldn't have too much problems at the middle lane. It more just comes down to, like, those first 2 engagements, you want Brewmaster there, and that's before he has the Blink. So if Empire start losing fights, then that Brewmaster Blink can be very, very slow. But Clinks is going to be in the safe lane against the Lone Druid, and this is a very easy lane, especially considering he's got the support Crystal Maiden there.
Yeah, absolutely. You do see the off-lane Lone Druid, something that isn't that common nowadays, to be honest, because Bear gives away 300 gold, 300 experience when it dies, and with the dawn of more and more dual lanes, as long as you don't think the enemy team is actively going to smoke gank you behind the tower, I think this is something you can get away with. So for now, it's just the Crystal Maiden doing pulls, the Bear constantly scouting that CM out, and looking towards the bottom lane. Naga Siren's visible, so as long as she's visible, I don't really think they can do much to this Lone Druid. So I like that decision from Power Rangers. Normally, I don't think the offlane Lone Druid's that good in this patch. Unless you get a 1v1, but in this game, I think it works out very well.
Yeah, he can be very annoying. You're just pulling creep waves away, and he should get decent CS as well as last hits. Your mid lane, your Brewmaster versus Mag. For the time being, they're just trading farm, and that's going to probably remain for at least the first 7 to 10 minutes of the game. Not going to see too much action there. The Power Rangers supports with a Venomancer, though, can look to roam a little bit, but Windrunner not really a good roaming support. Even with that early smoke, I don't know how much they can actually do and try and gank mid here.
Yep. Well, for the time being, Lone Druid getting a decent amount out of the off lane. The mid lane just going to be basically just a bottle crow war. Neither hero likely to get a kill. Maybe once Mag hits level 6, but yeah. Tri lane or the dual off lane for Empire right now. I mean, to be honest, Mag's level 2. Your Naga's level 1. I don't feel like they're getting as much. There's already a Lone Druid level 3 in the off lane. So far, I'm actually liking these lanes a lot for Power Rangers.
Yep, they're the Radiant jungle just a bit more, I guess, efficient. Is the best way to describe it. And the CM, of course, fantastic because you can just kill big creeps on your own. But always want to fly for the time being is focusing more on just doing the standard pulls. So this double, triple pull throughs that Power Rangers can be doing is just a lot more, much better use of their time.
Yes, CM Naga, such a strong dual roaming combo. They have plenty of damage with Riptide, and you have plenty of lockdown once you get level 2. But
yeah.
For the time being, they're just choosing to sit back mid. I feel like if they wanted to send both of those supports mid, they could very well make a go on the mag. But for now, they rotate the Naga top, feeling like they're not getting enough out of their off lane to justify what they're giving away to this lone druid. And I definitely agree. I don't think it's a good trade for them. So they'll rotate the Naga top, but the question is, can Vankscore actually change the equation here? And I'm not sure he can.
He goes straight into like some solo jungle play. He just wants to kill this Alpha Wolf camp. So he just wants to get some solo experience and farm, realizing that Elder Titan at bottom isn't really being harassed out too much. And Venomancer is swinging towards mid lane. He's taken that smoke now. But this Brewmaster, he's a very, very tough kill. You have to get Magnus maybe level 6 first. I guess with a slow and a skewer back, you get that kill, especially with a double damage room.
Yeah, he does have DD. So I think it's possible, but still pretty unlikely. Yeah. Top lane, the bear taking a lot of damage. By the way, I do want to point out our lone druid player, CHS, I'm going to call him, has done a nice job of blocking the camp. He placed his bear over here, so the stack was denied to the CM and not getting off the double pull through. Meanwhile, middle lane, though, they're going in for the first blood. Can they get the skewer back? Resolution slow, but airballed by ZXC. I don't think they get that kill anyway. Resolution still sitting at 700 HP, and this is where that new level 1 Gale, no damage, hard to get kills with it.
Even with the skewer hitting and no defensive TP from Empire, I don't think they, like you say, they don't get that kill. They just lack the damage there. Like, with a double damage. Mag just level 4, so his nukes don't do a whole lot. The right clicks is okay-ish. Ooh, top room. Haste is going to be there. The Gale actually gets thrown, which was a bit unnecessary considering that he did pick up the haste, but I think just more of a reflex Gale more than anything.
I think that was an FNG, like, well, you might have the haste, but you're going back to base, Bubba, so we'll call it an even day. But the new Gale is very mana intensive. It got changed 2 patches ago, I believe, and costs quite a bit. So you really don't want to be wasting that mana if you don't have to. They actually rotate the Veno top. This Clinks is getting free farm. I mentioned that I feel the early Orchid is really important for Empire this game, and Silent not sitting on amazing CS, but he is your lead farmer. So the Orchid's still coming out relatively soon if this keeps up.
Yep, Life's still kind of the counter free farm at bottom lane. He's gone for the straight phase boots, can go for the drums now if he wants to, maybe just wants to straight up armlet to see what he wants to go for, but it's both offlaners getting decent experience as well as some okay CS, and I feel Mag being the less sort of farm dependent one, his limited CS and levels is just going to be a lot more useful come mid game time, and that's where Power Rangers do have to be careful.
Always want to fly. This could be a first blood attempt. The Gale's going to connect. FNG dropping low, but all the nukes have been unloaded. Now he just has to run from Clinks. It will go to Power Rangers. No deny from Silent. Looks like he wanted to attempt it, but unable to do so. Now CHS retreating out. He's going to end up living. The Veno was traded, though. Goes down to the Brewmaster, but you got to call that a big win for Power Rangers. First blood and then a support trade.
They get the first blood Lone Druid as well, and I was talking about he needs the farm more than anything, and this is going to get to him, but he may go down at top lane. A Riptide with one more Searing Arrow. Silent going to get the kill. He just got caught out of position there. He just allowed himself to get straight up ensnared by Vankscore.
Yeah, this is where Clinks really synergizes well with minus armor here. As the Naga Siren minus 3 armor at level 2 from the Riptide, then you throw in the plus damage of Searing Arrows, and oh boy, he just melted.
Even without like the ensnare there, Resolution was already rotating. He was trying to just backstab from behind the tower there. So Empire do want to get a bit more active now that we've hit the 5 to 6 minute mark. Resolution are up to his level 6. He's got a decent chunk of gold. I imagine wants to go for the Arcane Boots into Blink Dagger, which seems to be the most common build on the Brewmaster, but now we're going to see Power Rangers pick up an Invis Room. Winner rotating somewhat towards the middle lane.
Yeah, picks up the Invis Room. Doesn't really see much of an opportunity there. And Brewmaster is level 6, so it would be a hard kill, but I still feel it's worth putting pressure on a Brewmaster this stage of the game. You get that, even if you don't kill him, if you force out the ult and you get out, then you know they can't do anything for the next few minutes. So, yeah, with Empire not having Naga-san, their only way to teamfight will be Brewmaster ult. And we'll see if they look to make a play mid. At least delaying that blink would be nice as well. But for now, seems they're contentious to trade here. Mag with Arcane Boots out. Arcane Boots out in the Brewmaster. So mid's dead even. The farm in the off lanes is quite comparable. I mean, really, it's a draw so far, I would say.
Yeah, exactly. The two sort of mid heroes are marrying themselves perfectly. Brewmaster got the 1 kill, which sort of made up for it. I think he's slightly behind on CS. Actually, he's ahead on CS now, but the carry's trading farm, but it definitely feels like that favors Clinks more than the Lifestealer. Lifestealer just doesn't seem to be as strong of a safe lane carry as he ever really was in the past.
He's not important to his team, though, I guess. That's sort of the thing that I'm keeping in mind here is if Silent has a bad start, I feel like Empire just screwed. But with him having a good start, now it gives them a decent shot heading into the mid-game. He'll have his Orchid at the rate he's going, I want to say, by like the 10 to 11 minute mark, to be honest. He's almost got the next Oblivion Staff. Maybe closer to 12 to 13, but that's about it. And if they get this kill, which they're likely to, they're going to find the Lone Druid. Now they nuke him down. He was in small bear form and just quickly melts.
Oh, and this TP from Lifesteal is just being too slow here. The Magnus is there looking for an RP. Just level 2 skewer to set things up. Can they find Silence? Sentry Ward is there. He's going to dust. Can use the RP if he gets 2. He's going to get 2. Brewmaster shows up. There's a clap. There's an ultimate as well, but it's too late. They've lost Clinks. They lose Naga Siren as well. I don't know if they're going to get too much revenge kills here. Maybe just the Magnus, but even getting the Magnus is going to be a bit of a struggle. He's trying to go into the trees. He's juking. He's driving. Runs up. Will eventually go down, but they also lose the Crystal Maiden. It's a 3-for-1 trade. That is after the pick off on the Lone Druid, but advantage Power Rangers. Nice rotations coming from all these heroes.
Yeah, and if you're going to trade an RP for a Panda ult and you come out on top and kills, you're really happy. By the time this Mag ult cools down, Brewmaster will still have a full minute to go before he can use his. So that's a window for Power Rangers if they want to force a tower around that time to do so. And I love this rotation. Now that the Lifesteal's gone top, I think you just leave him there, because how is Empire going to kill him? The only way is an ensnare. Well, they'll try, but he just rages. I think a bit premature in the rage, to be honest. Moon on the run, though. He pops the open wounds. The clap just too early and not able to get the slow off. And I mean, honestly, unless he gets ensnared really far away from tower and has Infest down, he just should not die.
Yeah, and Lone Druid at this bottom lane, much safer for him to be farming. Also a very easy matchup to be farming against here, against Mag on the Elder Titan. And this is where, like, you're off, like when we're trying to gank and push the enemies off lane, they're going to suddenly have a hero's advantage because they can TP in their carry, they can bring in their solo mid, whereas your offlane heroes aren't really likely to rotate. So being in the top lane, Power Rangers had a 5v4 advantage from the get-go.
They're going right back top. They don't have RP, but Moon's going to strut up. There is an Observer Ward here from Empire, spotting the movements through the lane, and you'll see Silent quickly rotate off. The good news is that Silent is still 2-1-1. He's still on track for a pretty fast Orchid. At the rate he's going, I think he'll have the second Oblivion Staff like after one more camp from this one, and at that point, you just need recipes. So still, I feel like a 12, 13-minute Orchid. And if he uses it wisely, you can disrupt the RPs. You can actually gank Lifestealer, not allowing him to pop Rage or Infest out if they have the burst. So Empire's still somewhat on track here, but if they're trading evenly and it goes another 15, 20 minutes, then I think they start to be in trouble.
Well, they're looking to get a bit more active here. Resolution, TP's mid immediately smokes with the Crystal Maiden. They're heading towards the bottom lane. They see Lone Druid head bottom. They're going to follow him there. And I guess the big question for Power Rangers is, can they actually TP and save him here? Lifesteal is probably the big hero who does not have a TP. Magnus does, but...
And he's got RP. Panda does not have his ult. So if they dive bottom now, I feel this could go really poorly for them.
Magnus can cause some problems here, but I feel like if it's only Magnus, they can only TP in one at a time is the big problem. And right now, all the Power Rangers are top, so I think they can get this kill. Maybe trade 1-for-1 at worst, but we'll have to see if they do actually find a way to go in.
CHS, decent position. He's close to Midas, so this will be a great time to kill him, up to 1,200 gold. I don't know if they're going to be able to make this dive in time, though. Now he's only about 110 away, and it's starting to get suspicious at this point. They have an Observer Ward behind the top tower. There's nobody in that lane. Now they do go mid on the Magnus, but he's got a skewer RP available. I mean, this is a really obvious gank bottom. They're still going for it, and I think they're going to get him triple TP reaction. Can they get out in time? Always want to fly. Just an RP for the Crystal Maiden. Well, they get the kill, but was it really worth it? Great trade here for Empire.
Yeah, that's what looked like to be a 1-for-1 trade. They may get a second. They're not even going to get Mag, and that's after all the TPs in bottom. So
top lane, they're
really
looking to go on.
Done.
FNG here.
He's trapped.
Out comes the Gale, though. I think Venom might build it. Nope, TP out. Is he going to be there in time? Clap. Not enough.
Needed to maybe instantly TP when he was in that little bit of fog, but really good trades coming Empire's way. They force so many heroes bottom, and that's where rotating all those heroes that gank the Lone Druid, they kind of know in their minds, like, they're gonna, even if they all TP, their burst damage with Elder Titan, 3 points in the aura, a clap as well as the Naga Siren, so the Crystal Maiden, their burst damage is crazy. Like, they kill the Lone Druid in no time at all. And then from there, they just have to work on escaping, which maybe for the CM isn't possible, but for Panda, as well as the Elder Titan, is pretty easy.
Oh, bottom tower, nice deny by your Crystal Maiden of all heroes. Slightly mistimed by Empire. If we do go back to that bottom fight, I feel the Lone Druid should have known it was coming, though. They had an Observer Ward behind the enemy safe lane. There was nobody visible in the lane. And those heroes were off the map for like a good minute and a half. So I think if he was tucked down there more, he still dies, but I think they get like 2 or 3 kills instead. So it doesn't work out that way, but they will have their Midas soon on the Lone Druid in spite of it all. And Well, if it turns into a farm war, it's up to this Clinks to punish that. Silent now gets his Orchid 12 minutes in. This is still a very fast Orchid, and you compare that to Lifesteal with phased drums, like you said, you just much rather have the Clinks right now. So what can Silent do? Can he be effective? This is going to be the story of the next 5 to 10 minutes.
Yeah, and the double Blink Daggers, the Magnus as well as Brewmaster, both coming up soon. It's Brewmaster who's going to be getting his a little bit faster. Not really going to be game deciding that he gets his maybe a minute or two earlier, but for Empire, when they're already ahead, they can just get aggressive that much earlier, and they're smoked again, coming towards top, and it's the Lifestealer and Venomancer. They're going to get at least the Venomancer here, maybe Lifestealer as well. Silence is there, but they don't do enough follow-up damage. They go into the Venomancer now. Now the Lifestealer in trouble. He can't TP out. It's on cooldown.
Ensnare. Oh, he is so royally screwed. He ran away from the creeps he could infest. He thought he could juke and hide until his TP came off cooldown.
Power shot snipes
He was wrong. Shackle to Fly does connect on 2. That Veno ultimate, well,
it helped a little.
Decent amount of damage there, but just not enough. So in the end, 2 for 1. They only lose the support.
Power Rangers get mid-tower, though, and that's the Lone Druid starting to catch up. His Midas was very slow, but...
And this is where this combo used to be really popular, the Lone Druid Lifestealer. You keep 1 down, that's fine. Can you keep 2 down? That's a much tougher task.
Well, top lane now. Power Rangers want to make a go here. They've got the Mag RP. Silent wants to use a Death Pack, but if they spot him here, he should know.
This is so greedy. There's even a Sentry Ward here, although he doesn't know it. But
they RP2 here. They're going to catch up the Crystal Maid. The Naga starting to follow.
He went for the creep. He's going in. He's got the Silence of TXC. Silent just chopping away at him. Look at those arrows. Way too much damage, but now he's running past the Sentry. Shackle not going to connect. Can they get this kill? Clinks is low. Clinks is dead. Beautiful play. 3 for 2 in the end. So once again, Power Rangers, decent little trade for them. And the Clinks going down, that is a big loss here for Empire.
Yeah, Empire just not really trading favorably once it comes to
team fight. And this is 4v5, because Lone Druid is just AFK farming bottom lane.
Yeah, that's the power of these Power Rangers lineup somewhat. They've just got better early game fighting heroes. You put all your efforts into killing one hero with the Clinks Orchid, then suddenly he's got nothing real left when the Windrunner, the Power Shot, the Shackle Shot's there to turn on him. You've got damage output from a Lifestealer who's gone for the phased drums build, and this is before Lifesteal even has his armlet. When he gets his armlet, his damage output increases by about 50%.
And eventually, this Lifesteal is going to get to a point where you may not be able to burst him during the Orchid Silence. And if you can't, then he rages, he armlet toggles, he can even infest if he needs to, and comes right back out. And then you've wasted a lot of your lockdown and just crucial moments in the team fight trying to kill one of the 2 carries. So this is where you go back to the draft, you look at Empire's draft and say it's definitely a strong draft, but it is somewhat of a timing for them. They can go late for sure with the Elder Titan Aura, Panda's teamfight control, and they will jump in mid right now in ZXC, but he skewers away. Boulder Toss is not going to be there. I think he got fogged there. It is nighttime and just maybe had a second to cast it, but was not enough. Meanwhile, top lane, Moon forces out a Song of the Siren, but still at full HP. Can they get off a Silence here? No, always want to fly the one to join the fight. Quick and fast, pop out, run away. Mag still at full HP.
So low.
Beautiful stomp, but is it going to be enough damage? Always want to fly. First casualty, FNG still alive, and now Big Daddy Bears on the fight. Looking for Vank score. Not going to find anything yet. The Bears dropping low.
Shackle, he will land on resolution here. He's looking to... Needs to find a way out of this one, but without Blink, without the ulti, he's not going to do so. Winner gets one last power shot off before going down. Nicely played by Power Rangers. Not done yet.
Blink in. Skewer on forward from ZXC. Well, doesn't connect on the Skewer. Has an RP. Really doesn't want to use it. Now he's going to wish he did. I don't know if he gets either kill. He's forced back. He does hang on to RP. They do get the tier 1, and this is where you blow that Panda ult mid, you don't even get the kill on Magnus, and then you don't have it for a crucial team fight top. That's a big loss there for Team Empire.
Now your Lifestealer armlet's completed. We're getting close to a mech as well, so Power Rangers, this only gets scarier to deal with for Empire soon.
Yeah, time being, I feel like for Empire, like it's almost like you have to start transitioning towards late game now. You work towards your BKB and Clinks.
Yeah.
It gets harder and harder to fight PR now because they want a few fights. They have a mech coming out fairly soon on the Windrunner. Once that's complete, these heroes are not the easiest to burst. Veno's the one that you can just pop, but outside of that, I don't think this Clinks is going to be solo killing Lifestealer, although he may be able to find this Windrunner that you've got your camera on. J4. Oh boy, this is like the ideal position to go for a kill. Well, not when he's in the trees, though.
It's tricky because it's so easy to use fog around this area.
Like right up the hill. This is perfect.
Yeah, he goes immediately, and J4, he turns around. At that point, it's like, well, I'm screwed. You're in such open ground that you can't use any trees or fog to your advantage.
Yeah, if he tried to run down the hill, it would have been too late. If he ran forward, he would have died anyway. So
yeah,
a lesser Clinks player would have tried to go for that kill when he's farming that camp with Power Shot, and then maybe Jukes gets a Windrun off when the silence wears off and ends up living. So nicely played. But I feel they need more of that, because remember, Lone Druid's still farming, Lifestealer's still farming, and ultimately this is a team with 2 melee damage dealers with Empower, so they go very late.
Yeah, this win rate, despite getting picked off, it's just been like beastly this game. Hitting shackle shots left, right, and center. The power shots has also been hitting, securing a lot of kills here. And until that point was 4-1 and 5. Has a completed mech now, 17 minutes in the game. And this is a support win run. And this is where I feel Power Rangers are slightly ahead. Like they're leading by about 2 to 3k gold. When your support win run is offering this much, compare that to the impact the CM and the Nagasaren have had, and it's completely apples and oranges. Because right now the supports of Empire are combined 1 kill and 8 deaths.
Cute play from Silent. This is where you have to dig deep as a Clinks player. We've seen Burning do this a lot. Just go for the tower backsteps, force. Oh, Blink Initiation middle lane. RP just for resolution, and he's all sorts of dead. But they may give up a tier 1 bottom, because if Silent wants, he can just start backdooring this tower. So they give up the Panda kill. They may give up a tier 2 mid. Not a good trade for Power Rangers, but I do like the way that Silent's playing. Even though his team's falling behind, he's getting whatever he can off the map. Although he just wasted Skeleton Walk.
With Brewmaster dead, they're going to sneak a little Roshan here, it looks like. They'll happily give up this bottom tier 1 tower.
No buyback.
Yeah. They're hoping so. I think they saw the point booster picked up, so they know he has no buyback. And even if he does have buyback, maybe they can get out of this one okay. But seeing the point booster gives him the security that he has now.
It's dangerous, though. There's a Spirit available, there's a Stomp available, and an Earth Splitter. It's going to catch everyone except for Moon and CHS, so really not enough. Rosha's going to drop. Now your Crystal Maiden ult from the high ground, along with a song that's just a horrible combination from Empire. Not quite on the same page. Now it's Silent trying to pick off some wards on the backside. Can they kill anyone here? Your Clinks on the run. Your Elder Titan on the way out. Crystal Maiden takes a spill.
Clinks could be dead here. He's being dusted up. He's so squishy. He doesn't have Death Pact on. He went for a Crystallis as well, so he's got no HP.
So it seemed like they wanted to use Song to wait for Panda to come back and then take the fight, but Song went right over a huge Crystal Maiden ultimate. Just Empire not quite in sync here. Now, to be fair, it is like 8 a.m. in the morning over there, something along those lines, so maybe these teams still waking up. This is very early for Dota players, but I gotta tell you guys, PR, they had their coffee, and they feel wide awake.
Yeah, they're playing some amazing Dota right now, and I think Empire, regardless, should not have been looking to take that fight. 4v5, it was just not going to work out well for them, and they got punished for it. They lost multiple heroes, including the oh-so-important Silent Clinks.
Maybe you go for like a Song of the Siren Aegis steal there. I think that would have been fine. Maybe you try and use the Stomp to set it up, but yeah, to fully commit to that fight, especially losing the Clinks, he's really your only late-game damage. Panda doesn't offer you much at all except for control later on, and against a Lone Druid and a Lifestealer, they can just mow through the Fire Panda, so that's like probably 60-70% of the Panda's right-click damage right there. Here we go. Once again, Power Rangers on the aggressive here. They smoke up, and this is where you have RP. You can keep on taking fights, whereas that Panda, oh, it's got to be used wisely. They'll go in middle now. Blink, skewer on back, and always want to fly. It's just dead.
Yeah. I'm surprised Lifesteal even came out for that one. I thought he maybe wants to hide a bit longer, but they can just straight up push down the mid lane. They can rotate bottom and go for a push or a gank here. Resolution still just farming away. He's level 13. He'd love to get that level 16. He'd love to get the Ag Scepter. Those two items generally kind of come up, well, the item as well as the level 16 come up at similar times, but right now they're going to be playing from behind for the next 5-10 minutes.
Meanwhile, I guess if you're Empire Gods, the big question is, like, where do you go from here? Because on paper, I think most players would feel you've got Lifestealer, you've got Lone Druid, and even a strong, like, utility hero, Windrunner. We might see action top, but like, how do you try and take this late? If not, how do you fight now? Because it seems like they're just outgunned.
Yeah, we'll have to. I'm not sure because they're giving space for Lone Druid to somewhat catch up. He's going to have his Radiance any second now. Magnus RP at top. He's found the Clinks. Skewer back, and this Clinks alone under the tower. Easy kill at Empire.
No, maybe not. He's still alive for now. The Death Pact
Where's
does
the
end.
gem?
No detection for him.
Oh, they bought the gem was on the Venomancer. The Dust and Sentry is no longer there, and Venomancer showed up too late. There was no slow to follow.
Okay, well, they don't get the kill on Clinks, but I don't feel like they need those kills. That's like a nice bonus for them.
Yeah.
Lone Druid, as you mentioned, is still farming. Your Lifestealer now almost has Sanjayasha complete, and that's the point where he starts building towards a big late game item. Get the Abyssal Blade on him, or towards your Assault Cuirass next to Lone Druid, and if this goes on another, I don't know, 5-10 minutes, I think that's the point where Empire rely on like a perfect Earth Splitter Stomp hitting everyone just to have a chance in a team fight.
Well, Clinks is going to head back towards top lane. I have to see. I wonder if he's just going to fully commit to this Daedalus or if he's going to go back. He's going back for a BKB. Okay, so he's picked up the Yoga Club.
I feel like you're up against Shackle Shot. All that damage from Venomancer. I don't know if you can afford to skip it.
No, you definitely looks to me like a BKB game. Sure, there's spells that go through it, be it your Lone Druid Entangle or your Magnus RP, but even if there's just 1 or 2 other disables, it's worth getting.
Yeah, ultimately, that's where PR have a big advantage, is they have one big team fight ult in RP. They can just use it on Clinks. If they get it off on Clinks and they kill him late game, Empire have no damage. So
yeah,
that's where the Clinks' positioning becomes very difficult, and I think where PR have it easier. But Naga can turn that around. A timely Brewmaster ult can bail the Clinks out, so we'll see if Empire can make up for that deficit. But I think PR, easier for them to execute these team fights over the next 10 to 15 minutes, and Empire will have their work cut out for them.
Yeah, and it's where Resolution is going to be the kind of make or break player and hero on the Brewmaster later on in these fights. He can cause problems for the Magnus. If he prevents Clinks from getting hit by a big RP and going down, then he may just win Empire a team fight.
Well, they group up top, and they look to force a fight here. The BKB's not out yet on your Clinks. FNG going to be trying to defend this tower. He does have Gem, remember. If he falls here, it could be painful, but throws out the Gale. It's going to clip Resolution. Is this Q to gank? Pops a Poison Nova. I don't think he actually hit anything there. Well, Empire, I don't know if they want to fight anyway. The Lone Druid Radiance is here. Shackle to fly. Will not connect. Resolution starting to drop. They could Infest Bomb on him, but they're worried about the Song. Mag's been caught out. The Song will come through, but the Lifestealer was already raged. Picks off the Brewmaster. Fight's over, folks. Time to cut tail and run. Empire not going to be able to fight anymore. They do pop an Earth Splitter, but it's all about retreating, and I don't know if all these heroes get out.
No, the Shackle Shot going to land on Mag. There's no skewer to stop. That was so close.
Almost canceled another TP. That was a brilliant play by ZXC, set up by a nice Venomancer ward. Not quite enough, but I love the way they're thinking. Not just settling for the 1 kill, but going for the +1.
That skewer was instantly would have just won Empire, lost Empire that game if that had hit as well. That was going to be a huge pick off for the Magnus, but they'll see them go towards the top lane now. They'll get the tier 2 tower to follow as well, but with Lone Druid Lifestealer both getting so fat, this is suddenly becoming very difficult for Empire to turn around.
If you're just joining us, it's a double elimination format. This is game 1 of your first semifinal. It's a 4-team event, a LAN tournament in Moscow. But right now, Power Rangers, probably the team that would have been expected to finish last based on just name brand recognition. They're in the running here to make a fight of it. Resolution now blinking in. He will pop his ult as he gets entangled, but PR just going to run the hell away. They might lose one here. In comes a hasted Silent. He's got to do a lot of work, but quickly gets skewered back. Silent not right-clicking right now, not really doing any damage. ZXC might be the one to fall, but he doesn't even have RP. Your Magnus is down on the backside, though. Look at the Lifestealer and Lone Druid just tearing into these supports. They do pop the Aegis. The Lone Druid may fall here, but Lifestealer is coming back with a fresh life. They've now lost 3. Can he do enough? Shackle Shot not going to connect. Uh-oh, they lost their gem. They don't have detection. They're going to lose 4. This is a big turnaround. They might even get 5. J4 on the run. Clap is there. Does he have a TP? He does, but a lot of ways to cancel it. Can he get out? Stop being channeled? No, he can't. This should be a full 5-man wipe and an Aegis down. Oh, what a turn of events.
5-man wipe, Aegis and gem and all included. That is what Empire had been waiting for, and it took a lot to set things up there. It didn't look like it was the best start to the fight for Empire. Like when they went in with the Brewmaster, the ulti didn't seem to do a whole lot, but with some musical gems and eventually just Clinks doing enough damage, they somehow turned the fight around.
Yeah, and in fact, if you look at what happened with the Clinks there, Silent, he orchided one hero, and then he kind of ran around for like 3 seconds. I thought maybe there was a Ghost Scepter on the Mag, but I don't see one, so not sure why he stopped hitting him. They still get the kill anyway. They still end up just wiping PR, and I think that's where PR just got a bit too spread out. You had your Lifestealer and Lone Druid on one side of the fight. You had your Magnus, Veno, and Windrunner kind of retreating on the other, and that's what Brewmaster ult's great at, just disrupting a team. If PR are in a 5-man clump, I think generally they'll come out on top there, especially with RP. But without it, then the Elder Titan Aura starts to kick in. You have a nice ensnare to lock heroes down, and that was a big loss for them. Like you mentioned, losing Gem, losing 5 heroes, and losing Aegis as well. Yeah,
they got completely split up there. The bear did a good... He actually picked up the gem initially when it was dropped on his bear, but his bear then died to the CM ultimate. If that bear stayed alive, I think PR may have actually at least broken even or done a lot better in that team fight. And, well, Empire get the gem and they didn't have detection for Clinks, and suddenly things get a lot more difficult. We are going to see a Venomancer ulti at top lane. It looks like just harass more than anything. Casual ulti, also buying time for some of these heroes to come in. Lone Druid's on the way with his Radiance, but...
Oh my god, are they going to get him first hit route? Not in time.
That would be some serious RNG. Like, combine the Entangle proc with the evasion on the Brewmaster.
If Bulldog wasn't busy most likely drinking in Korea, he'd probably be sitting here in chat just saying, what a Lone Druid player, if you got the Entangle there. But, well, not the case. And by the way, I don't know if you saw Loda's tweet, but apparently he had to carry somebody from the team or the group home. So he said he's a carry not only in Dota, but also outside.
After drinking too much soju?
Yes, I think a few too many glasses of soju, perhaps.
Who would you say it was?
The
Definitely
I'm
not
guessing
Ake.
EGM, maybe?
Really?
Well,
Okay.
he's the young guy, right? He's like small physically, and he's pretty young, so either that or perhaps Kelly. But that's not really fair to her because it's tough to hold
I
your
would
liquor
say
as
it
well.
may have been Bulldog even.
You think so? Okay.
I don't
He would have to drink a lot more, I imagine.
Kevin agrees? Yeah, Kevin agrees.
Okay, Purge is on the Bulldog hate train here.
Oh, I'm not hating.
I'm backing my boy Bulldog up.
I just feel he's like the most likely to drink a bit too
Overindulge.
much.
Yeah, you're probably
Not
personality-wise, I agree.
Yeah.
Just in terms of how much it takes, though, I imagine it takes quite a bit more.
Yeah.
So.
Maybe S4 if they were really leading him astray, but that was I don't see that happening.
He's so straight edge. Or at least he seems that way. Watch him like secretly be Walter White or something behind closed doors. I don't know. They're gonna group up bottom and look to fight, and I think for Power Rangers, this next fight should be a bit easier. The BKB's up on Mag. They also will have RP available.
There's a BKB on Clinks, though.
Resolution gonna airball that. Now he gets shackled. Can they focus him down? They've got an RP here. Oh my goodness! Mid-cast animation gets song. Now the Panda ult comes out. Need to end this song soon. They're prepping for a stomp, but the BKB does come out for Magnus. He's netted in place. Now the ensnare coming through, holding him in position. He skewers on back.
Oh, it doesn't catch the Clinks,
just
though.
the CM, though. Oh, no, no. This is not gonna cut it, Power Rangers. They're losing 4. It's a massacre. Oh, that was just one of the most unfortunate team fights I have ever seen.
Clinks came in from the perfect angle as well. Like, it was slightly unfortunate for Power Rangers, but Empire just played that perfectly. Naga Siren Sting back, even if he gets the RP off, it's a wasted RP. In fact, it was better that he didn't cast it because if you cast it and then the sleep comes afterwards, the RP does nothing and they dominate that fight. As it is, they still crush them. Silent came in from behind with his BKB, was just critting through some fools, and Empire going to get Tier 2 tower, possibly even more out of this one as well. Roshan respawning in a minute as well. They've got complete control suddenly.
It was never an overwhelming lead for Power Rangers, but it just felt like consistently they were winning fight after fight. You can see the graph slowly inching upwards.
7.5k, like
that's a substantial lead with their kind of lineup, which is a lineup that uses farm better than most. You have double strong melee core with a Magnus and RP on your side. Enemy team is 1 carry, but watch out, Venno. You're about to get backstabbed. Say hello to Mr. Silent. He's got the gem out, and he's going to work looking for J4. Yep. Now Silent's fat enough where he can just start right-clicking the bear down in fights, or the Lifestealer for that matter. And if you're in an item disadvantage against the really farmed Clinks, then he can solo kill you during that silence.
Yeah, and Empire should know Roshan is respawning in the next sort of 40 to 50 seconds, and it's going to be coming up very, very soon. It looks like Nagasaren's running in there. He's not going to scout it. Oh, so close, so close.
Well, they know it's coming up soon because this is like 10.5 minutes through on the respawn. And they should catch it within the next 30 seconds. In fact, we may... Nope, no illusions going in yet. But yeah, they'll see it very soon. And if Empire get this Aegis, then I just don't know for Power Rangers. They have no way to see the Clinks off the map right now with no gem on their side, with very poor support. So you don't even... Just a pair of sentries now picked up of FNG.
This bear at bottom lane.
Yeah, let's see. He can kill the bear.
Oh, it may die.
Soul burn. Oh boy, and that's value lost there, gods, because that Midas is available and not being used.
It's gonna have to resummon his bear. It is up the resummon at least. Could be a lot worse for him, but he'll start that cooldown as fast as possible. And well, it also makes just like if Empire do go for Roshan now, it's a lot harder to contest and go in because you've got only the 1 bear, and that's something which Empire can focus down so easily with the Clinks damage, the minus summer from Riptide, the Astral Spirit with Natural Order. All of these things just make Power Rangers so squishy.
Yeah, and especially when you look at this team not yet having an AC on the Lone Druid. Sometimes you'll see a Vlad's at this point, even on like the Windrunner, but they just, or the Venomancer, but they just have no regular plus armor on their team, which means Natural Order is incredibly potent at this stage of the game, where otherwise it might fall off a bit. So yeah, Empire, with the slight turn of events, just really snowballing this into a big comeback. And until we see like this is getting to the point where the Lone Druid desperately needs not only AC, but he also needs either a BKB or MKB on his bear, because otherwise Brewmaster's just going to Drunken Haze it. Even in Panda ult, you can do that now, and the bear's just not going to do any damage. I mean, sure, Radiance, but you need to be right-clicking and getting off entangles in these team fights.
And he slowed down his item progression by picking up this Scope Scepter, which is on his hero. That means no Assault Crest anytime soon, no BKB, like you mentioned. So I feel like this Lone Druid, who managed to finally catch up at one point, is suddenly very far behind again. Empire have just completely overtaken him. Your Lifestealer isn't really going to do enough late game either. The Searing Arrows going through Magic Immunity now means his actual survivability isn't really there against this kind of an Empire lineup.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. That was a very recent change in this patch, and it's a big difference. Without that, you do go quite a bit
Clinks
later.
has found him. Silenced physical damage is there. He's going to immediately TP. Needs a couple crits or two, and I think the kill is there.
That was with no crits until the last hit, and he still gets the kill.
Yeah, there was definitely some poor RNG there coming in from Silent, but
yeah, I don't know if Silent's he's not a very good dataless builder, but that's okay.
Still gets the kill. Are they going to lose this bear again? TP's coming.
Resummon, not available for 12 seconds, but yeah, just need to keep on right-clicking it, wait for the teleport support to arrive. It's a very slow CM, though, and I think it will get out.
Okay, just gets out of that one, but he's going to continue jungling here and farming. He's only up to 1,800 gold CHS, and if Empire won... PR saw that smoke. Like, Brewmaster just went invisible in front of their own eyes when he was hitting that bear, so they know there's a smoked-up Brewmaster +1, at least +1.
This is a bad place for FNG to be on the low ground as they approach, and they will do so under cover of smoke. J4 trying to farm from the sidelines from around the trees, but I think he's about to be caught. Songs available. Naga, though, has been spotted. Now a blink clap. I think it might be too late for J4. Gal's going to fly resolution mid-cast animation on that ult. But he holds
Clinks
it.
Came in from the side, though. Going to look for FNG. He's going to BKB this one. There's just Skewer does not hit.
Yep. Skewer doesn't affect magic immune units
RP,
as of a few patches ago. And
good not to use the RP there when he's got Aegis and he's in BKB form. You're not killing him with their physical damage.
Yeah, old Skewer, you know, way back when. Maybe you actually kill him once there, but yeah, not killing him without RP. And even then, could they? Because then Song's always available, and if they waste RP there, that's probably game.
Yeah, it is a wasted BKB for Empire, but they've got Aegis, they've got Song of the Siren. They can still very comfortably push even without that BKB up on Clinks. He deathbacks at creeps. He comes back towards middle lane. He's sitting on 4.6k gold as well.
Force staff in, Shackle to fly, not going to connect. Now your Panda lurches forward, and now the silence onto J4. 2 hits, down he goes.
And the bear may follow. This bear very, very slow with the Drunken Haze.
Dead.
That's some good crit gaming.
Look at Silent. What a Clinks player he is. Yeah, I don't know. The bear just doesn't do anything at this point. It comes down to a big RP. If they hit a big RP, maybe a shackle shot to set it up, then I think they can still hold. But without it, I just do not see them defending this high ground.
Infested Lifestealer inside the mag, but even with this Lifestealer coming out, his damage output is decent, but he's gone the Sanjin Yasha, which is a good build when you've got the 2 cores, which they've got, but Empire just have too much damage output.
And snare on the bear. I think they might just try and kill it. Blink in, though. RP on mag. Once again, ZXC off the mark on these RPs. The early game ones were good, but these later game ones just haven't been on there. Now the Earth Splitter coming through. Do they get CHS with it? I don't even know if they need it. Silent, the Ghost Scepter going to prevent him from killing off the Lone Druid, but they've already killed off the Windrunner earlier. The Veno is going to fall. Not the best Panda ult, to be honest, but I think it's enough to start breaching the base.
Yeah, they're going to go straight onto the high ground here with the splits here. These things do decent damage powers as well, but the bear coming in needs to be careful not to lose this one. See him getting low, they throw it up in the air. Shackle shot on the Nagasara. May actually be Vang score going down. Lifesteal's taking out CM, so they're going to lose both their supports, and Empire forced back.
They do have this Aegis. Now the root comes on the resolution. No ultimate for 110 seconds. Look, keep your eye on the Clinks. He's got a BKB. He's still got Aegis. If they kill him twice, though, they lose the gem. And now ZXC going for the big plays. Grabs resolution on the backside. They know no Aegis on him. Better hero to focus. He'll try to run. He'll try to hide, but he cannot escape. Meanwhile, Silent also in trouble. There's a fresh gem up on Moon. If they kill him again, I think they get him twice here. No RP, but I think the Shackle shot will be there. Shackle shot online. He's going to try and run. They still see him, though. Does he try to TP out? There's no RP. I think he goes in with the BKB. He's going hard now, but a Blake. They're still keeping the vision. They've got the gem, and Silent is going to drop beyond God. Like, that's 1,300 gold for the Magnus. Give him 3K. He's like halfway to refresher now.
All right.
We got a game now, God.
This game is not over. This game will go on.
Look at that gold graph. It went straight down from 5K, actually, sorry, like a 7K lead for Power Rangers, then down to a 7K deficit for them. And now, straight up the other way, and they never got racks.
Yeah.
Empire, this game's not over yet.
Lone Druid almost completing his Assault Crest. Assault Crest is up on the Empire side, though, on your offlane Elder Titan. That's where it's really a bit of a worry. A hero that's not really one of their true cores is getting an Assault Crest, while your Lone Druid is still trying to complete his.
Yeah, I think the bear still just melts in these fights. Even if it gets AC, that's not enough, because then it's like neither team is on AC at that point, pretty much. And I mean, the bear will be a bit tankier, but it still mostly is going to negate that extra armor. And I don't know, gods. This Lone Druid, he's got a lot of farming left to do. I feel like for Power Rangers, they just, as long as Clinks doesn't have Aegis, if they just RP the Clinks and maybe the Naga, so she can't saw him, then they can just kill the Clinks. But if that doesn't happen, I don't see how they take these fights.
Yeah, and Clinks is going to have a butterfly in 100 gold, so that's something a lot more survivability for himself against this lifestealer, against the lone druid, as well as a bit of extra damage output, especially when he doesn't have the strafe up.
Meanwhile, always want to fly, just casually wandering up 2 hills with several enemy heroes off the map. He's just going to do a bit of warding. Very bold support play, but it looks like it may play off. This is a payoff. This is kind of your fluffing stuff, Crystal Maiden, where he'll just use those solo smokes and go warding. But Venom's farming the Ancients. So if they want to go even later, hold that thought. Bear's getting ganked out. They're going to and this poor Bear just cannot split push. Gets clapped, gets right click, down it goes again. Okay, forget about the Bear not having two summons. It's just giving away gold at this point. That's like 1,500 Bear gold this game.
It's not even the Clinks who is killing it. This is the other heroes who can kill it. That Drunken Haze slowing it by so much.
And now a B-Fly. And they really need MKB on these heroes. Lone Druid, if he completes AC, then he's not going to have an MKB for like another 10, 12 minutes. Same for your Lifestealer, who's going... Basher could back off for an MKB, but I feel MKB is a must. Sure, you have Rage to remove the Lone Druid Drunken Haze, but that's not always available. Now there's Butterfly Evasion to worry about. I don't know if Power Rangers are going to have the time to farm those items, though, and they might be in a lot of trouble here.
Yeah, I think it's more of an MKB game than the BKB, but we'll see this top tier 2 town now under siege. Magnus, the RP, is going to be what's crucial here. Want to catch the Naga Siren, also want to catch the Clinks, and that's something which I just don't see Empire allowing.
ZXC was smoked out, and now he's going to see the Clinks. Blinks in RP. It connects just on the Clinks. BKBs get popped. There's still a Rage here. Can they bring him down in time? He's low. He is going to drop. That means no Clinks, no damage. Now Empire probably need to run. Can they fight it out? Just kidding. They do have damage. Crystal Maiden ult does kill off one. The Lifestealer is going to fall, but now a 2-hero skewer. Bringing them back. The Lone Druid Bear now comes back to Earth. But does it live through this fight? Out comes the Shockwave. Everybody melting. Without Clinks, it seems like maybe they just don't have the damage. They do kill the Bear again. There's no Bear respawn. 3 for 2 so far. Give him a win, but is it big enough? Mag, next in line. He will fall. Meanwhile, Resolution diving deep for a triple kill. Skewer cooled out in 8 seconds. Shackle shot already available. I think they run him down slowly but surely here.
Oh, it's tricky. The
They've got
evasion's
Skewer
there.
soon. They've got Skewer soon.
Yeah.
If they use that, nope, Shackle setting up the Skewer. I think he gets away.
It's so hard to kill this guy because you can't just right-click and chase him down because he's evasion. So eventually you're going to miss and then he'll blink out, and he does just that. It's almost a team wipe.
In the end, 4 for 3, and that's where just great awareness from PR. They pop the BKB, they insta-pop Rage. Song's not going to save you there, and there's no other way to bail out that Clinks, and that's where Clinks just can't get caught. If he gets caught and they BKB on the Mag RP and they Rage on the Lifestealer, he just dies.
It's where the Empire supports it. You need to have at least like 1 4-staff on your team and save it for moments like that because he's chain stunned or something and you can't pop his BKB. The Song's not helping. You need to 4-staff him away, and that's where not having a 4-staff on either Naga Siren or Crystal Maiden does hurt them a little bit.
I think just the way that Silent attacked that was pretty cocky. Like, he's trying to scout, that's fine, but they could just slow siege with him next to his team instead of trying to backstab, because he ended up revealing the smoke, but then immediately they're like, all right, let's just RP him. And now they have Refresher, so a bit more margin for error for ZXC. We'll have to see how he uses these RPs. But you can drop one on the Clinks, refresh, and then use another to deal with the rest of the team, so...
It
this
gives you
game's
just that,
not over yet.
It gives you just that freedom to not even make an error, but just use a solo RP on one key hero. Even someone like the Naga Siren or the Brewmaster. If you want to get rid of the Sleep or the Brewmaster Ultimate, you use a solo ulti on it, and you finish him off with a BKB. Then you have one ulti still to deal with the Clinks, because you need at least one RP for the Clinks.
Guys, if you're just joining us, we're 40 minutes into Game 1, our very first match of TECHLABS, the Grand Finals for 2013. It's the November edition. It's being held in Moscow, live on LAN. We'll have some camera shots, hopefully some production for you guys from the Russian on-site casting crew later today for the 3rd match. Coming up later will be Na'Vi versus VP, but right now it's all about this mid-fight. They're looking for Scandal. 4-staff in. They'll right-click him. He's trapped. He BKBs, but no running for this Bashlord. Moon gonna bring him down. Mag dead to rights. These are kills that Empire just cannot afford to be giving up.
Yeah, at this point, every little kill that PR are getting is they can look to force buybacks, they can take towers. They're just getting complete control of this game all of a sudden. And the items like Resolution picks up a Shiver's Guard. This is nice and all, but this isn't really gonna turn the tide too much. These Lone Druid items we're going to see coming out much more influential. Even the Bash on the Lifesteal are making a big difference. Roshan not up yet, but it's coming up very soon, and Elder Titan may be just alive in time. He's not going to want to use his buyback, but I wonder if he's going to have to.
Yeah, I'm not sure what else Resolution could go for. Your Bear does, or your Earth Panda does carry auras, so maybe he should have gone for AC instead of the Elder Titan, but Auto Titan was farming better than him, and you do want to get the Ags out first, so it's where Brewmaster is a hero. It's like, what items can you get? Heart's kind of nice, because you do get the Heart regen, and you come back with a lot more HP if you're almost dead, while you're in Panda aspect form, but yeah, I don't know. At some point, Panda just falls off as a hero, and I think we're starting to see that now.
You either need to go for something like your big refresher orb type item, or you go for like a Scythe of Vice. I feel like Shivers is
Scythe would actually be pretty game changing. I think.
Yeah, having a Hex against this lineup is definitely something they need, and their supports are not supports who are going to farm it. It's not like your Windrunner that power range has. Speaking of which, Mech and 4-star 3k gold. J4 could start working towards that Hex.
Lane, always want to fly, tries to TP out, immediately caught out. Not the biggest hero to lose, but every little bit of lockdown makes a difference. Now the song comes in. They're going to turn this around with an Earth Splitter. And White Catcher Magnus here. Does he BKB in time? He does. He dodges the damage, but he's not able to get his way into this fight. CHS, the target of focus. They RP once. They get the Naga Siren, but she's already used her ultimate. The Clinks kills the Mag when he's refreshing. Refresher orb on cooldown. Now Silent on the run. He does get bashed, though. Now he gets scaled, and I think Silent will fall. What a shackle from J4. Silent going to drop. Panda ult is down. What a crazy fight. If they had 2 RPs there, they probably win the game off of that, but instead, your Windrunner gets thrown up in the air. Moon on the run. There was a buyback from the Naga. They're not done fighting yet. Moon being focused. Clinks buying back as well. This could be the fight that turns it for Empire. They get another. The gem's going to hit the deck. Your Windrunner probably going to live, but this is most likely Roche. Magnus, no buyback. 300 gold short.
Yeah, and the importance of this fight around the Roshan, that's where Empire are so happy to use those buybacks more liberally. They know if they win this fight, they get Roshan, they get Aegis and Cheese on their side, and that's going to be such a key factor for them as we're now well into the late game. Having Aegis and Cheese can be a game decider.
That was just, I mean, you talked about, we were sort of joking about Silent not getting the crits he needed earlier. Those were the crits he needed. That Magnus was like maybe a second away from just skewer RPing there, because he just dropped an RP on the ground, hadn't even used skewer yet, and then right as he's about to go off,
it was like 2 crits in 4 hits, I want to say. Something ridiculous. That was some very, very fortunate critting coming out from Silent.
To be fair, late game Clinks attacks so fast that, I mean, you'll get like, 6, 7, 8 auto attacks off in just a handful of seconds. But yeah, got the money, needed them. That turns the tides, and I guess the good news for Power Rangers is they didn't use any buybacks in that fight, aside from a Veno one like 5 minutes ago. So in this high ground defense, they'll have a couple of extra lives of their own, but Empire are going to be happy to have Aegis and Cheese on their side.
Oh, Spirit Bear, got to be careful. Immediately turned around. Some good awareness coming out from the Lone Druid player.
Middle lane. Resolution going in deep. Now you're Blake. RP, but it's only one. Remember, they don't have the refresher for this fight. Now the root comes through. Resolution. He's got his ult in about 20 seconds. Earth Splitter being cast canceled again. It will connect on quite a few. He's just running. They don't have that second RP. Here comes your Clinks from the backside.
They killed the bear. There's no resummon on the bear.
Silence looking to jump now. There's no bear available. He goes on to FNG. 3 shots and he's dead. And with no RP, there's just no fighting here for Team
no
PR.
Spirit Bear. I think PR need to just play so much more defensively there. They had to wait till they had the double bear. They had to wait until even like the Magnus refreshes back up. That was only 25, 30 seconds away, and they just rushed things there. And now Empire, well, they may not go immediately down the mid lane here. They've got a bit of time with no Venomancer up. The Magnus ulti on cooldown as well. He can pop the refresher, but I think Empire may look to at least chip away at the high ground here. To some extent. This is really dangerous for PR.
In general, you can use your regular RP a bit earlier, even if refresher's cooling down, because they'll sort of sync up nicely. It's 160 seconds on the refresher, 100 on the RP, but yeah, that was like 100 seconds before refresher cooled down, or even a bit more than that. So they won't have the double RP yet, but it is coming soon, and now Empire start to group. They are fighting the double RP here. There is a buyback available on the lifesteal, nothing on the mag for 100 gold. Oh, what a time it would be for him to die, but I think they're a lot less liable to catch him when he's just hiding on the high ground.
Well, there's 20 seconds before we've got our Spirit Bear. Well, 10 seconds for the Spirit Bear. 15 seconds now before the Mag RP is up.
Crystal Maiden Heaven's Halberd. This is a big deal for me. That rage is going to wear off at some point. Your Lone Druid Bear doesn't have a BKB. You could disarm this thing, and they might not even get to right-click in these fights.
Well, PR are going to survive for the time being. They get time for their ultis to cool down. They get time for the bear to be resummoned. Still only just having the one bear CHS. He's going to send it bottom where it's been picked a lot of time. I like this. So he's put the Ghost Scepter on his bear now. That's actually going to do a lot of work to keep it alive when he's split pushing lanes with Radiance.
That is definitely some next level Dota right there. I've never seen a Ghost Scepter bear. It seems like anathema, right? Because bear wants to be right-clicking, but hey, in this case, just wants to live through the Clinks. I don't know if we see a Diffusal Blade to counter that. That seems a little too clowny even for this game, but Well, guys, it's still game one. 46 minutes in. We're deadlocked in an even struggle here. Both teams have racks. Neither team is an outer tower except for this tier 2 top for the Radiant, the tier 2 bottom for the Dire. By all accounts, at least as far as the raw stats go, it's dead even. With Aegis and Cheese on Empire's side, for now, maybe you give them a slight edge, but who's your money on as we head towards the late game?
Oh, it's still... my money depends on this Magnus. Like, if this Magnus can hit some insane RPs, PR take the game, but I feel like Empire are just going to be the bit more veteran team, have the better late game decision making, and with Aegis and Cheese on their side right now, I definitely give them like at least a 60-40 edge. Yeah,
Power Rangers, I like how they're not defending this tower, although your Magnus hangs around just a little bit longer. One more shockwave. You definitely want to take this fight on your high ground closer if you need to buy back. Less exposed for a Clinks backstab. I mentioned Aegis and Cheese, but was that only the second Roche? Because I just see an Aegis on the Clinks. Honestly, this game's been crazy.
There was
so
Cheese as well. I wonder if
it's on the Lundred Bear. Maybe they sold it.
I'm not sure. I believe there was Cheese as well. Okay. Yeah, it was definitely the third Roshan.
Okay. But I don't know what happened to it, but there is no Cheese.
May have been used already, even.
For Empire. Oh, you know what? I think Panda had it earlier. Might have popped it.
Okay.
Not sure, but Silent does have the Aegis still. He's going to have it for another, like, minute or so. They might have to wait for the next Roche, because this one's...
Winrunner picked
2
up
minutes.
Winrunner picked up an Orchid here. Could have gone for the Hex here, which I think I would have preferred. But the Orchid's still nice against the Naga Siren, against the Brewmaster. Can't really rely against the Clinks, who has a BKB, as well as the Elder Titan, who you don't really need to silence anyway.
They are infested right now, looking for a play in the jungle. It won't happen, though. Your Lifestealer still no Abyssal Blade. Your lone Druid. The Bear, sure, it's got that casual Ghost Scepter, but just feeling like it doesn't have quite enough items. The real fight breaks out in the base, though. Resolution blinks in, but immediately silenced. Still popping the Shivas. Nice BKB, dodging the Shackle Shot. FNG will be the first casualty, but an RP. Clips 2. They go to work, but Resolution too tanky. Even through the double RP, Rage is going to end. At the same time, Son does Resolution low, but Silent standing strong. He's just chewing through him. The Bear's going to fall. This Clinks, he is too powerful at this point. I don't actually know if they can fight anymore.
Yeah, I don't think they can stack their RPs like that. Sure, you can stun them twice, and hitting those series is great and all, but it doesn't seem like they have the damage upwards to kill them, especially when Song of the Siren's being used. Now we're going to look at Empire. They've already taken out 2 heroes. The Lone Druid and the Venom are both dead. They want to get this Magna as well. The Brewmaster ulti is still going on. Winrunner in the air, and with this, they can just focus the tower, the Raxes. They'll get top lane. They can swing towards mid as well. Clink still has Aegis, and it looks like PR are in all sorts of trouble.
It's only game 1 of a best of 3, but if you're Power Rangers, I mean, you just look at the gold graph, the lineup they had, and you got to say, what if, what if, what if? In comes Moon again, but he will get slowed a bit here. Not able to do much now. Shackle Shot slightly off the mark, will not connect. J4 next in line. And this is just, at this point, it's just automatic for Empire. With all these kills piling up, still no RPs available. No way for Power Rangers to fight, at least not for another minute or 2. And by that point, this should be 3 lanes of Rex, and probably with that a game 1 victory.
Yeah, Lifestealer bought Mag. Mag going to catch out a Crystal Main who's trying to TP home, but he's still got no RP. Looks like the tower going to go down, possibly not the Rax.
Is Silent really going to eat a creep while this is all going on? I mean, I'm all for using Death Bag, but man, that's a big dive for it. He'll come back into the fight right now. They are bringing everyone down. The Panda, look at the right clicks. He's maybe the real carry for this squad. And, well, on that note, Silent comes back in. GG from Power Rangers. Boy, they gave Empire a good fight, but just a few crucial misplays in team fights, and Empire, they come right back.
That was an exciting way to start things off here for TECHLABS.
I gotta say, you know, VP, Navi, sort of like the big name teams, but I'm already impressed by Power Rangers. They made some big mistakes in team fights and late game execution, but jumping out into a big lead like that against Empire, gotta say, I'm impressed.
Yeah, Empire did a great job of turning that one around, but even when they turned it around and got back to even, Power Rangers still had some great holds there, and it definitely felt like it was anyone's game for most of that, and a few more things go Power Rangers' way. Maybe we don't get those like crits on the Mag in that middle fight when he gets the refresher ulti off. Maybe Power Rangers take the game, so it's definitely was not a convincing win for Empire. Not to say they didn't play poorly, but they did play pretty well. But it feels like Empire, if they want to win this tournament, if they want to win TECHLABS, they're going to have to do more.
Yeah, I was actually quite impressed by Power Rangers, even in defeat. So showing that they can take Empire and fight with them, not able to take the game, but I think they've got the potential to at least take 1 game off of Empire, maybe even take the series. It is early there in Russia. In fact, I think it's like 9 or 10 a.m. even now. So for gamers, that's like 4 a.m. for a normal person. That is just damn early. But guys, we're going to take a quick break here. Game 1's in the books. It's a best of 3. Who will take game 2? Who will take the series? We'll find out after this.